Welcome into Toast Film, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, Trey.
And I'm one of your hosts, E Bo. And, I just invited the boys over. My wife's making a blueberry pie. This definitely is not a blueberry pie scented candle.
We totally didn't watch the first match either.
Yeah, don't worry. Look, this match is not real. It cannot hurt you. And if you're wondering who that handsome, tall person is next to these two, your two favorite hobbits, that is live and in color for the first time, the Don himself.
The Don.
The man, the myth, the legend. Go back and listen to our episode. We'll have it in the description. We had a whole episode talking about movie stop. That's where we met.
Yeah.
That is where I got that hat that is to the left of the Don.
Oh, that's
from the movie stop. But the reason we've been reunited is because we went and saw Heretic, the new film from A24. Hugh Grant's in it. He's not handsome Hugh Grant.
Oh no.
He's creepy Hugh Grant. Don, this is what a handsome, rugged gentleman looks like.
Jovial, lovable.
Yeah. This is not Hugh Grant in the movie we saw.
Yeah.
But before we get into all of that, we are toasting today with something special, a little concoction Trey, came up with. Trey, tell the people what we got today.
Well, for the people that are out there that like a good mule, there's been a lot of variations of it. You've got the classic, you've got your Italian mules, your Kentucky mules with bourbon. Well, we just thought it was only fitting to do a blueberry mule, for the movie Heretic, which actually I think turned out pretty good, guys.
Yeah, it's good.
It's very nice. We muddled some blueberries and some mint, then iced some vodka. What kind of vodka?
Belvedere.
Very nice.
Pretty vodka.
Yeah.
Very, very clean. And then some nice ginger beer on top, some lime juice.
Can't go wrong.
Gets the LeChonk seal of approval. But guys, Heretic is a religious film. No spoilers, of course, once we get to review, but from the trailer, it's a religious horror movie.
Yeah.
So I got some things to tell y'all about religious horror movies. Can I take y'all on a journey? Y'all mind?
I brought my passport.
All right, good. Well, it's about to get the stamp, buddy.
We got our drink. We're ready to go for a ride.
So we've had a bevy of types of religious horror through the years. I would say what really laid the groundwork that would become religious horror is The Exorcist and The Omen.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Both of those.
Exorcist for sure.
70s, they hit. People were shocked. People couldn't believe what they were seeing. Practical effects. And I mean, that led to sequels, remakes, reboots. And best of all, it led to Russell Crowe on a moped saying, "Follow me to the cinema." Don, have you seen the Russell Crowe tweet from the Pope's Exorcist?
I have not.
I'll have you know, I have it saved on my phone. We'll show you afterward.
I'm looking forward to that.
What's the old saying? No school like the old school?
That's right, yeah.
Well, clearly it's gone downhill.
Hey, the Pope's Exorcist, fun movie. Follow me to the cinema, my friends. That's all you need. Chubby Russell Crowe dressed as a priest on a moped. That's all you need.
That's not like a recipe for success right there.
And fertile cross to the theater's face. That's all I'm saying. He was Superman's daddy, Craven's daddy. He was Hercules' daddy in Thor.
Yeah.
I mean, the man can do no wrong.
So if they ask who's your daddy,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Russell Crowe,
likely.
He's not taking any paternity tests.
Hey, also Zeus.
Yeah. Somebody needs to call Morion Russell Crowe. And then, something really picked up was, you could say, the Conjuring movies are religious, based, especially once we get to like The Nun.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
Like that.
Yeah.
Good versus evil, demonic possession.
It's funny you say that, because the next thing I was going to bring up was, through all this journey, we have good versus evil, typically, God versus the devil for a lot of, because most horror we get is like Christian Catholic versus the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And you get some like the movie Devil. You seen that one where they're on the elevator?
Yep, I've seen that.
Where the light side wins. You know, good triumphs evil. But then you have the dark and the wicked.
Oh yeah.
Where we see the true power, the mischievous, the torturous, you know,
Pure evil.
that the devil can do if you don't have a strong faith.
And I think what was so powerful about that movie is you see how the devil's a trickster,
Yeah.
a
Right.
true trickster, which
Mhm.
they don't really highlight a lot in,
No.
in movies. But yeah, no surviving that one.
And then, you know, let's throw out, I mean, you got some action movies, but they got horror elements like Constantine,
Mhm.
Yep.
Legion.
Yep. That's good.
You know,
Yeah. Homework, man.
Yeah,
Hey.
man.
I know. Where was this when I was in school? Sheesh.
They just didn't have a movie class, but
Yeah.
They had movie class. Your boy would have aced it.
That's
See the
it.
paper.
That's
You got a movie like Martyrs.
it.
Very
oh wow, yeah.
dark,
That's yeah.
you know, rendition
I
of
love that
horror.
movie. That one scarred me.
And
That
then you also even one that Trey turned me on to was The Vigil,
Mm.
which is Orthodox Jew.
Okay.
You know, so you get all these different
Now,
things.
Wasn't the movie in late 2000, maybe mid 2010s called The Possession? Wasn't that a almost
Yeah.
a Jewish version of The
Yeah.
Exorcist? Yeah,
Yes.
that was another
Also,
another
good one to
of those.
bring up.
Yeah.
And you
Great
know,
movie. Great movie.
It was.
and you know, the movie we saw tonight, Heretic, is an A24 film.
Yep.
But they have forayed into some incredible religious horror movie,
Yeah.
Saint Maud,
Oh man.
which Trey and I said, okay movie until the end. And then it becomes a fantastic movie.
fantastic.
The Witch, getting into
Unbelievable.
good
Yeah.
old school pagan,
Oh man.
you know, religion. You got the X trilogy.
Yeah.
To say what you will, but the bottom layer of those three films all has to do with religion. Because, you know, the lead protagonists' fathers are always
Oh
you know, very
yeah.
religious men, which lead them to their
I
action.
forgot about that. It's a good
And
point.
Ty West actually made what's one of my all-time favorite religious films, The Sacrament. Don, have you seen The
I have
Sacrament?
not seen The Sacrament. Enlighten me, sir.
The Sacrament is a found footage movie,
Mhm.
I like those.
but
Yeah.
the setup it makes it work, where it's a group of people who are documenting this cult. And of course, they don't call themselves a cult. No cult call.
No, cult.
Yeah.
But the guy that got to be the leader of this commune is so charismatic.
Yeah.
And it's actually was inspired by the Jonestown Massacre,
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
you know, where they drank the
Right.
Kool-Aid,
Mhm.
918 people gone.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have Midsommar,
Ooh.
you know,
Oh yeah.
leap year.
Little Norwegian.
Yeah.
But here's the
Background.
question I want to ask y'all. Okay, trivia time for my two boys.
Okay, done.
What
Ready to ace this one, buddy.
and we're including Heretic, okay, in your answer. What is your over under? How many religious horror movies have released this year? What would you say is your guess, including Heretic? And I'm only including theatrical release.
Theatrical release. 4.
You say 4.
I was going to say 3.
You say 3.
Theatrical release.
Theatrical release. Theatrical wide release.
That word again for me.
Theatrical wide release.
Okay. No, actually, I up that. I'm counting them in my head. I'm going 5.
5. And you're
I'm
sticking with
still
3?
sticking with 3.
Would it surprise y'all to know that there have been 8?
What?
No way.
Are you ready?
Hold on. Let me go with mine real quick.
Okay.
Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil.
We've got Exorcist Believer.
That was not this year.
Really?
Exorcist Believer was last year.
Wow.
Ooh.
Okay. Immaculate.
Immaculate.
First Omen.
First Omen.
Another Exorcist movie with Russell Crowe.
The
Right?
Exorcism.
Yeah. And then we had Heretic,
Heretic.
and now I'm out.
So you did pretty good. So Trey,
failed
you
out.
actually missed the 3rd pregnant woman movie, Azrael,
Oh man.
which came out recently.
Yeah.
You also missed out Maxine, which we just mentioned
Yeah, you're right.
a second ago.
That
And
one always
Trey,
throws me.
and Trey, I'm really disappointed because you missed out on Let Me In Now.
Oh,
Long leg.
God. I'm ashamed. I'm
Yeah,
done.
Azrael.
I'm further behind than you are. So.
Azrael, First Omen, Immaculate, Maxine, Long Legs, The Exorcism, Late Night with the Devil, Heretic.
Man, long legs.
That is a strong year for religion film, especially because 3 are about pregnant women who got immaculately pregnant.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've been talking about this enough. Let's get into Heretic. So this is directed and written by Scott Beck and Brian Wood. They brought us movies such as 65 and Haunt, which, Don, we have to tell you about Haunt after this.
All right up your alley, buddy.
And they also co-wrote with John Krasinski the Quiet Place trilogy and The Boogeyman. And this stars Sophie Thatcher as Sister Barnes, who was in Maxine and The Boogeyman, and Chloe East as Sixer Paston, who was the daughter in The Wolf of Snow Hollow, which is a big film we here at Toast Film love.
Yeah.
And of course, Hugh Grant as Mr. Reed.
Mr. Huge Grant. Yep.
Yeah. Huge Grant. But boys, what'd you think of the movie?
John, you want to start this one off with it?
First off, I watched a few trailers before we went in to see this.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had a preconceived notion of what I was going to see and was planning for it. The movie blew me away. It had so many levels. It had so many moving pieces, and I didn't realize it was time for it to be over when it was over.
Yeah.
I mean, it kept me glued to it the entire time. I mean, I have an old man bladder. I used to have to get up and go halfway through a movie. You know, nope, not this time, man. It was
right.
I was stuck. It was amazing.
Yes, man. I'm gonna piggyback off Don here. I could not have written a more captivating movie. I mean, just like Don said, I had to pee halfway through this movie. I refused to get out my seat. I can't remember a time where I've been glued to a movie like this, where I don't know what's going to happen next. I can't wait to find out. And as we're finding out, I can't wait for the next piece of the puzzle. You know what I mean? I'm like, how is this tying in? How is this tying in? This movie lives up to the great reviews. I think it got 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is 100% deserving of that rating.
See, I'm very, very low level, low hanging fruit a lot when I watch some movies, and when I go in, I like to pick the character that you're going to follow, and who's the protagonist, and it kept moving in this movie.
It did throw me for a loop.
You couldn't find a focal point,
Right?
So the movie just engulfed you in everything that was going on because you were trying to figure out everything as it played out too.
100%. This movie kept us all guessing. I never would have called anything right. I mean, nothing I would.
If I can say a tiny spoiler, but it's not really a spoiler, but I want people to go see this movie. And I was talking with one of my friends when Trey and I were on the way to my place, and I want y'all to know this is not a demon movie. From the trailer, because he really was like, oh, you know, I'm not into demon movies. And I was like, dude, it's not.
Yeah.
So I just want y'all to know, small spoiler, it is not a demon movie. It is not a exorcist movie, none of that. So if you don't like ghosts or demons or any of that, this is still right up your alley.
And I want to add on to that. So that's a good point, because religious horror can works different ways for different people. Some people don't want to even invite that into their house. But just like Eddie said, definitely check this out, because the writing was so good. This movie was intelligent. It was captivating, mysterious. And for the people that want a good mystery, but it's with intelligent writing, this is the movie, because there's a lot of truths and non-truths in this movie. A lot you can relate to, but a lot you can let your mind continue to wander. And to me, that's the fun of it. You know, they added enough truths in there to, you know, make the audience, you know, second guess some things at times, but then pulls you back in to be like, okay, all right, my view holds, you know? So
exactly. I was still. Hugh Grant did such a good job.
Man,
he is, you know, and we're used to him. I'm used to him from more comedic and rom-com kind of movies, but he has that really charming, quirky, really that kind of vibe about him.
Yeah.
But you just see a dark shade to him. You're just not sure.
It's almost,
you just know something's not quite.
Yeah.
It's almost like
it's not supernatural. So,
you know, all these serial killers, like, you know, Ted Bundy's of the world and stuff like that, where they just draw you in because they're so charming and they don't raise any red flags.
So you said it perfectly. There's one thing I do want to say, again, not a spoiler, but just for the people that go into horror movies. We've all gone into horror movies, right? Where we project ourselves as the protagonist and we say, why aren't they running? Or why are they doing this? Well, that's not the case in this movie, because just like y'all said, Hugh Grant is so charming that even with that dark shadow, you're like, I don't fully get this man, but he's nice. He's not coming at us with, you know, anything. He's very intelligent. He's well spoken.
He's educated.
Very well educated.
Very well educated. So I was with, you know, kind of like our two protagonists in this one. I'm like, you know, he has such a way about him where you want to play into his games a little bit. You know what I mean?
And he presents what he has so well.
Yeah.
That you really are attracted to it.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, it's really just a quality that's really hard to nail down, but it's just the charm. Of course, if you've seen him in some older things, but you kind of have almost a vibe of who you kind of expect his character to be. I don't like to say he's typecast, but you kind of expect him to be this charming, this funny, and there are moments in here that are really, you kind of snicker a little bit under your breath, like, well, that really wasn't funny, but just that his character has so many levels and so much depth to it.
So much depth.
Unbelievable.
Which is hard to write in movies nowadays. And
you need somebody like a Hugh Grant who he naturally just has that charm where you're like, okay, this is a dude I want to hang out. You know, let's go grab a beer, let's watch a football game.
And he looks like your everyday guy.
But you also need somebody who's been acting long enough where, like, he can do those little things. Because a lot of time with him, it's his eyes, where the way he's like looking and studying, or like the way he's holding his body. It's just very small things he does in this.
Yeah,
that's what makes him a great actor.
Yeah,
it really is.
Absolutely,
it's way more than just reciting a line off a piece of paper. I mean, it's a two-dimensional character in the script. You know, you make it the third dimension. The actor's what actually brings that part out. Man, he fleshed that character out.
I mean,
he really did.
Yes, just like Don said. I mean, this performance with Hugh Grant needs to be recognized as maybe his top 3 best performances of all time.
Right up there with the Prime Minister from Love Actually. I love him. Look, that man was in charge of a country, and he was like, I want that thick girl right there. I'm like, that's a man I can
that was his first test.
Yeah. Hey, but also, you know, the 2 ladies, Chloe East and Sophie Thatcher, who played the sisters, you know, sister in parentheses because job title. They were so good because, you know, they're small. We see like they're kind. They're just trying to do things.
Yeah.
And one of them had a great line where she's like, I can't tell if you're trying to play chess or checkers.
I love that line.
Yeah.
That was, but what shocked me about that is it not just saying, I don't know what level you're playing. She's like, I'm trying to figure out what level you're playing. You know, she was trying to figure out what was going on. And so she was thinking almost at a level he was.
Yeah.
But I just, of course, we don't give a whole lot of it away, but man, her character was just so, she defined that character so well. And it's a movie that you really have to pay attention to for little things.
Yes.
But it's not that it forces you to, you're just naturally drawn to it to pay attention to the specifics, you know.
We always will. I feel like all 3 of us caught on to things during the movie, and we were like, we're gonna have to come back to this. Something's here. And just like Don and Eddie were saying, the two female protagonists, their characters had a lot of depth and growth just in the movie alone.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
And Sophia Thatcher, her character, she was very intelligent. And to me, in a way, she matched Hugh Grant's because she knew she was playing chess with him,
right? Yeah.
You know, the whole time.
And that's Sister Barnes.
Sister Barnes, yeah.
Whereas Sister Paxton, she was the less devoted of the two, it would appear at first. And she had a growth in many ways, growth in herself, growth in faith, you know, and you're just on journeys with each character.
I actually think a little bit of the opposite, buddy.
Really?
I think Sister Paxton lived more in the ignorance is bliss. So I think in a weird way she had more faith. I feel like Sister Barnes was a little bit more sawed down. She could see humanity outside of religion. So she was a little bit more hardened. Where Sister Paxton
Taco Bell, you know.
Yeah.
Taco Bell does what Taco Bell does.
That's right.
There aren't many survivors.
Right. Yeah. That was sad.
You're right, man. But just like I said, this movie's funny too at times.
Hey, shout out to Topher Grace in a blonde wig for no reason.
Hey,
that could have literally been anyone.
Man, that one tripped me up, dude. I did not know that was him. And right at
me and Trey leaned to each other at the exact same time. It was like, is that Topher Grace?
It's like, because the first scene when he's in the chapel, you don't know that.
I couldn't tell it was him.
I could not tell. Man, that was hilarious.
I want to ask a question. Something I noticed, of course, I see things a little differently than a lot of people do, but there were several scenes involving him that really were reminiscent of the iconic scene from The Exorcist, of standing in the scene where the priest is standing under the street light of The Exorcist, kind of in the shadow field. And there were several scenes in that movie that really it brought that to me a little bit, and I don't know if it was an intentional vibe that they created, you know, with the storm and the lights and all that stuff, but it was just to me, that's what added a little more creep, I guess, to the feel of the movie.
I can see that too, because they could have easily been playing homage to some of the classic religious horrors, you know.
Well, guys, before we give our ratings, and no spoilers on this,
right?
Because this is always something big. What did you think of the ending?
Perfect.
I'm gonna to follow along in Trey's footsteps right there, man. I didn't pick it.
Yeah. Yes.
If I had picked it, I would have messed it up.
Yeah.
The way they presented the ending was better than anything I could have fixed. Yeah. Anything I could have fixed.
It was fantastic. It left the audience just how we need to be left. You know what I mean? To me at least. But what about you, buddy?
Dude, no, I'm with y'all.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. I'm going to give this a 4.5 cheers.
4.5?
4.5 out of 5, because the whole time I'm invested because I cannot figure out what kind of movie we're getting.
Yeah.
And the more you get into the layers, the more you go into Dante's Inferno, as it were. You know, you're like, yes, wait, yes, wait. Oh no, dude, we actually had a fun crowd because, like, I heard some, you know, and I heard some laughs. Like,
we definitely had some laughs.
Like, we had, it wasn't a packed house, but it was a good, like, Friday night theater.
We had a nice crowd. We had a nice crowd. Well, man, I'm happy to hear that rating. I don't give this rating a lot. I think I've only done it 2-3 times this year.
Oh, he's fixing to go there.
Is he gonna go there? Are you gonna give it a LeChonk?
This was a 5-star movie for me.
Wow.
I was thinking about this. This movie,
cheers to that,
is a movie I could watch over and over. Yeah, definitely cheers to that, my boys. But this is a movie I could watch with anyone who hasn't seen it over and over just to see their reaction.
Yeah.
And I would never get bored watching this movie. And I'll be honest with you, I'm giving it a 5 because I can't think of anything I didn't like about the movie.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
You know, and making that point, I'm playing back through a lot of this in my head. I really can't find anything about the movie. I was like, I didn't really like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't see anything about that.
Right.
You got a 5 and you got a 4.5. I'm gonna go with 4.75.
Oh, right.
4.75 cheers, man. That movie was just so well made.
It was.
That there were a few times that it was kind of dark. It was a little difficult to see what was going on.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
But
yeah.
I think also that added to the mystery because you couldn't really figure out what was what in some scenes, just like our protagonists were.
Yeah.
So there were some times where it was just a little bit dark.
Yeah.
But wow,
Man.
I'm
blown away with you, man. And for the viewers out there, I mean, Don's got a 2 out of 2 record with us. I mean, well, I've seen some of the best movies of all time with Eddie and Don as the three of us. So
the Babadook and this, we're 2 and 2,
which I think to me were both 5-star movies.
I agree.
So I mean, we'll.
I just had to do 4.75 just to
disagree
agree with you guys.
I like it.
We like to keep it interesting. You know what I mean?
We want these people to know what's coming.
What do you mean by 2.75?
It was.
Oh, it's painful.
I was telling Trey, I'm not sure I blinked.
Yeah. Me either.
I'm really not sure I blinked in that movie. I mean, I'm positive I did because my eyes didn't dry up and fall out of their sockets. But,
right.
But I don't recall.
You get scared to miss.
You don't want to take Don said it perfectly, and Eddie did as well. Not only do you not want to leave if you got to go to the bathroom, you do not want to blink because this movie has such attention to detail that every scene you feel like has a meaning, has an impact, and you want to follow that theory through. I feel like I had 15 theories in this movie.
Right.
Not a single one was right.
And it wasn't a very fast-paced movie. It was a very slow burn kind of movie. But man, you couldn't look away. I mean, I hate to use the analogy of a train wreck, but it was like you just couldn't stop watching it. And
it was so methodical.
Right.
Every scene had care. There was a reason it was being done like that. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it was this isn't an action movie. This isn't someone chasing you. No. It is got a slow kind of pace burn to it, but one I've never experienced because most slow pace, I want to look away at times.
Yeah, right.
Not this movie.
And the interaction between the two sisters is just as intriguing as the interaction between the sisters and Hugh Grant's character.
Yes.
Again, I know I said it just a minute ago, and I hate to keep repeating myself, but there's so many moving parts.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. It's really hard to put in words.
It is.
But the whole, just the creep factor of the movie. And I really think lighting, characters, dialogue, and even the score.
Yeah.
But Hugh Grant just brought so much creep to that movie, and he portrays his character so charming.
Yeah.
Like just something's not right.
So what you're saying is
he's too charming.
He's a creep. He's a weirdo.
He is.
What the hell is he doing here?
What the hell is he doing here? Yes.
Okay.
That's
okay.
Yeah.
And you
call back to the movie.
And I will say this, I'm not gonna go deeper because it is a spoiler, but there's some things about the movie too, like with the house, that we never fully get answered, but it's okay. Like it's one of those you're like, I want to know more, but I'm not mad that I don't know more. Right. But it adds to the intrigue. It adds to the mystery.
That's just exactly what I was thinking to say. It adds to the mystery of the story.
Yeah.
You know something I literally just thought about. I had to think about this during the movie. I didn't think of it at all. But, you know, in some movies, we would wonder, like, how these two became friends or anything. That's never explained, and you never question it.
Never.
You're just like, yeah, Sister Paxton, Sister Barnes, Testy.
Absolutely. Going on a
we know nothing about them.
Talking to people, sharing about Jesus.
Yeah.
We know they don't like Taco Bell. They love Burger King. We know that.
Yeah, we know that. And again, yeah.
I was gonna say, have you ever had a Wendy?
Oh man.
I've never had a Wendy. Oh.
I'm telling you, and again, like I said, they do such a good job of asking questions early on in the movie when they first meet Hugh Grant that I feel like we all have asked ourselves at one time or another in our life. It's just human. Yeah, it's human to do that, And I think that's what's so intriguing because this movie really asks questions that every person on the planet has asked.
The amount of research they had to do for Hugh Grant's monologue
alone.
Perfect. And that's how you got a good movie. When they really dove into the source material and gave us something, taught us something. But then also let the audience run wild and still have our own beliefs, which I think is important.
They teach you something, but they let you figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
Your piece of it is still there for you to get.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, dude, we've been talking about Heretic. One of the best of the year, it sounds.
I agree.
One of the best A24 horror films, it sounds.
Yeah.
But what else do we like from A24 horror time? Because it's the end of the episode, which means it's list time.
Ooh.
And I think we need to start with our guest.
I completely agree.
The Don, the man, the myth, the legend. He escaped.
I escaped. I have often when I wear this T-shirt, people say, "Where exactly did you escape from?"
Now you can say Hugh Grant's house.
I did. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He escaped.
Shout out to Exodus Escape Rooms.
Yeah,
there you go.
Wonderful. I escaped.
Love them.
Shout out.
Yeah. Dude, I appreciate just being part of this. Hanging with you guys a little bit. And
likewise, buddy.
I went through my A24s and the ones that really struck home. We discussed earlier, The Witch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably, and I'm going to preface this statement, is probably my favorite movie from A24.
Solid.
Up until tonight.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. The Witch was phenomenal. Tusk was a fun watch.
Oh no.
I like Tusk. I like the cheese ball movies, man. The cheesier and goofier, the better. Yeah.
I do own it on Blu-ray.
Well, I do too.
I do own it.
And I had put Midsommar on there because that's just such a really weird.
It's a great leap year movie.
It is.
Oh yeah.
And I had done my 4. I had put Heretic on there because I said I know it has to be a good movie.
Yeah.
From what I've seen the reviews, so I've seen the trailers.
Yeah.
So I plumped Heretic at the 4th spot. You can see it right there.
Yes.
But Heretic goes to the top. That is my probably my all-time. It has to be my all-time favorite A24 movie. Yeah.
Don,
just hands down.
Man, look, this one we love you, buddy. This one we love you, man. You got great taste, and Eddie, can I bounce off this?
Except for Tusk.
Hit it, bud. Hit us with your list.
Okay. So I gotta do a shout out because this one did fall off. I thought I had a solid 5 locked until we saw Heretic. But my one that fell out was Green Room.
Oh yeah, Trey's a big Green Room guy.
I'm telling you guys, people need to revisit that one. That movie is brutal. It's another grounded film. It can be a tough watch, and it's a thriller, man. It is a thriller. So that one did fall out. But at number 5 is Talk to Me.
Yeah, Trey's a big Talk to Me guy.
Absolutely love Talk to Me. That wasn't expecting to be that good. Number 4, Climax.
Oh yeah,
this is a French.
Have you seen Climax?
It's been a little bit, but
it's a tough watch. It's a very tough watch, and it's not as well made as some of these others on the list.
They electrocute your child,
but they do some things that really, I think
that opening
so real
number.
Yeah,
holy
15 minutes nonstop, one shot. Yeah. But also, this is a horror movie that can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
If you're with the wrong crowd,
right?
And they were, and that stuck to me. At number 3, Hereditary.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie. The cinematography is about on another level in itself. The acting was fantastic. Story was great. And we had some twists and turns in Hereditary that we were not expecting.
Right.
And then number 2, The Witch, just like Don. It was one of my favorite. I have the poster for it. Love it. And just like Don said, we've got a new #1 in town.
Shout out to Black Phillip.
Yeah, I love Black Phillip. But guys, Heretic's the real deal. This movie, I love all of these movies on my top 5, but they're easily under Heretic. Heretic just has that appeal approach, and I feel confident saying that's not recency bias. Yeah. I believe we could watch this a year from now, and it would still be #1.
I agree.
Yeah. So, yep, that's my top 5.
Unless they just come something along in the next year that's going to torpedo this one.
Right. Yeah.
I will preface mine by saying I did exclude myself from including Heretic.
Okay, you didn't want to have the recency bias.
Only because from talking to them, I knew it was on theirs. Yeah. And I was like, this would be really high on the list. Well, let me give a few other movies because I got a couple y'all didn't mention.
Okay.
Yeah, no big deal. So number 5, I have Ex Machina.
Oh, man.
Good one.
Yeah.
Alicia Vikander, Domhnall Gleeson, Oscar Isaac. And it's not really a horror movie. It's just more of one of those things like with AI and all that stuff coming.
Yeah.
If you watch Ex Machina, like, look, ain't nobody, no NFL player, nobody could take her out.
No.
If she wants you out, you done. I hate to tell you. Oscar Isaac found that out pretty quick.
Yeah.
But, the big scary thing was when me and Trey went and saw it. Don, have we ever told you the story when we saw it?
I don't think I have. Would you regale me with this tale?
Okay. Imagine, Don.
I'm imagining.
Pre-COVID, of course, because of what time I'm going to say.
Yeah. BC, before COVID.
Before 10 p.m. on a Monday night.
Hey.
We went and saw Ex Machina. We were the only 2 people in the theater. So previews are 20 minutes. So like 10:20. An hour had gone by. After 11 o'clock. Still only me and Trey. This guy walks in. We're like, who the heck is this?
Yeah.
Sits down. But, we're at the very top of the theater, right?
And he wasn't a worker.
He wasn't a worker.
Just not with the clothes. He looked like he had a video.
He sits down and disappears. We cannot see the man.
Oh, wow.
But we hear him.
So that's what's crazy. So we saw him sit down, and me and A looked at each other. We thought it was weird. But then we continued to watch Ex Machina because it's a great film.
Right.
And then we decided to look back down, and that's when we noticed he's gone.
But we hear him.
Yeah, and Eddie and I psyched ourselves out because we were like, what if we just see this man crawling up the
stairs? Like we look down the stairs and he's like crawling backwards.
Crab crawling like exorcist up the stairs.
So I had to include Ex Machina just because I will never forget how freaked out we were.
I really was.
Don, I stood on my chair and we could not figure out where he was.
Couldn't find him.
Yeah,
20 minutes later, he stood up and walked out.
Yeah. He was there the whole time. I don't know if he laid down.
Terrified.
Yeah.
So number 4, I will definitely admit this is not one of A24's best films, but I love this movie. It's called The Monster.
Yeah.
So this mother and her daughter, they're driving, they break down, then a wreck, all this stuff, and there's a monster outside the car.
So the title gives it away.
Yeah. But here's the thing with this monster.
We wouldn't have believed it.
Here's the thing with this monster. It's pitch black. So it keeps going in the woods. And at first, they don't believe that something's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kills a man who's trying to help them. And they realize it's out there, but we cannot see it.
I think I've seen that movie.
And they're on the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just real cool monster design.
It was solid.
And, it's one that I appreciate. It's one that's a good throw
in there. Yeah.
I didn't realize that was A24.
So,
I didn't either until they told me.
At number 3, and I'll admit, this one out of the 5 is the best made movie. It has the best acting. It has the best set design. It has the best everything. And that is The Witch.
Yes.
If you just want to see, if you're wanting to become a filmmaker, watch The Witch.
Yeah.
Watch the setup for the shots.
Right.
The acting, the design,
it's
the color palette, everything.
It's like we said with Heretic. With The Witch, they really do their research when they wrote the story. Right. Robert Eggers is he knows how to incorporate real history into his set pieces.
Right.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
So at number 2, because one of the most shocking experiences I've ever had in theater is Hereditary.
Yeah.
And this movie's been out a while, so I don't care if we say a spoiler for this one. It's been out a while. If you haven't seen it by now, like,
oh yeah, no.
But the little girl getting not only killed but decapitated like 30 minutes in the movie, I was floored.
Yeah.
I literally was like,
yeah,
because I was like, she's not dead. And then I saw her head. I was like, oh, she's dead.
I couldn't believe it either.
So she just, boom.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, holy smoke.
Yeah. Well, it was fantastic.
But number 1, I got to give to Climax.
Oh, wow.
Because I just yesterday, in fact, rewatched that opening theme.
Yeah.
Because the way, we've heard different reports. Some say it's a single shot. Some say it's just so well edited you can't tell. But either way, all that choreography and them to appear that it's one camera following them is so impressive. And then that's a movie that just, you're so uncomfortable watching it because the people, it's very slow and methodical. Okay, things are starting to not feel right. Okay, this person's getting a little angry. Okay, this person's, starting to act a little anxious.
You see humanity go into madness in that movie, and that's scary because it really happens, and you see it with your own eyes in the matter of an hour.
And like what the mom, when she like loses her kid, and like everybody's like laughing, like, oh yeah, he got fried alive, and she's just like on the ground, and she just doesn't even know what to do. She can't even hardly cry because she's like, just, I don't know what I do. I just lost my child.
Well, and let's talk about the most important piece about this movie. It's based on a true story.
Yeah.
That's what's so crazy about it. This actually happened in, I want to say it was either Canada or France. Wow. But it happened in one of the two countries. And I mean, I couldn't imagine.
That's terrifying.
I mean, and then again, that movie really is one of the most horrific because just like we were talking about with the movie Monster, it shows how sometimes and most of the time humanity is the worst monster. Right. And it's we see a lot of men doing things with women that's very tough to watch, and so that's why Climax had to go lower. I appreciate it for all the reasons Eddie said, but it doesn't have that rewatch factor because I just don't really want to put myself through that.
You heard me say I watched the opening scene. I didn't say I watched the movie.
Yeah.
And shout out to the score from their opening dance number is also in the background of An Evening with Beverly Left Lynn when they're at the bar.
What?
Yeah, the same song is playing when they're having the double date.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, random side note, guys, but I learned something about the Halloween poster that A's got up here, and I've never been able to unsee it, but the person who created the poster came out and said that the hand is a clamshell, and I've never been able to unsee it since.
I mean,
and that's from the artist who did the poster. He said, this is what we did, and all we did was add veins to it.
Holy smokes. For those watching, like with our setup, I have my different posters above the wall, and as me and Trey have always said, like the original Halloween's one of my all-time favorites. I could see that though.
And he said that the way he designed it, there's a face in it. So if you look at there's a face in the design of the hand, and the lips are at the bottom.
Lips at the bottom. It's facing up.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay, y'all need to look that up because that's
Isn't that
crazy.
wild?
That's pretty crazy.
I saw that on a video.
You mentioned that.
The more you know.
Yeah.
But guys, we appreciate y'all watching. We appreciate y'all listening. And if this episode has told you anything, two things. One, Don is the man, the myth, the legend.
Absolutely love him.
Still alive as of this recording.
Yep.
And
he's gonna outlive us all.
He probably will. That's right. But please go see a Heretic.
Yes.
Like we said, it's not a possession movie. It's not a demon movie. It's just if you want, I mean, you could almost even say it's just a really tense drama.
Yes.
It is in a way.
You know, it's psychological, but it's just
very psychological.
So well acted, so well scripted, and you're going to keep going. I mean, the lowest score was a 4.5. You can't say that about a lot of movies.
And I can confidently say I will be hard pressed to find anyone who sees this movie that will not like it. I mean, unless they just don't like horror movies.
Unless they're a heretic.
There you go. I've seen people that didn't like the Babadook.
Yeah.
The Babadook was a great movie.
Yeah.
I've had people say, I can't believe you watched that. You said that was a good movie. That was a great movie.
That was a big
Great movie.
You know what I say? They get no LeChonk.
No LeChonk.
Zero LeChonks for them.
No LeChonk.
But if you want to let us know what you thought of The Heretic, or if you want to let us know anything else, there's so many ways you can do it. But let me tell you the best ways. Check us out on TikTok or Instagram, A Toast to Film, all one word. Check us out on Twitter at film_toast. Or make sure to watch us on YouTube. You know, I forgot to set up the green screen effect. So,
but it's still a green screen.
It is in fact a green screen. And we just hope you all have a good night
and good viewing.
Thanks, guys.
Oh,
Man.
The dog.
God.
Why am I doing the mouse when it's on my phone?